Okay, we're going to take a look at type conversion, and there's two main types that we're going to look at. One's implicit or automatic, the other is explicit conversion. And so this first one, first of all, type conversion means the process of converting one data type to another data type. So for converting an int to a double or a double to an int, that would be converting a type conversion. Now, sometimes what happens is the conversion happens implicitly or automatically. In other words, we as the programmers don't cause it to convert. It just does it automatically. We just need to know that that's what's going to happen. So up to this point, as I have up here, we've done an int times an int, and right here we've done an int times an int, and so both the operands are the same, and here the operands are the same. So this is easy. If you have two ints, the result's an int. If you have two doubles, it's a double. So what happens now? So what happens when the operands are different data types? The lower data type is automatically converted to the higher data type. Well, what's higher, what's lower? The higher is the one that takes up the largest memory size, the largest size in the computer memory, which you've already talked about this. We've talked about how double has the highest, and that int is the lowest as far as the ones that we're working with. I mean, there's lower but then int as far as integers go. So anyways, we're working with doubles and ints basically. So here's what happens. The lower type needs to convert to the higher type in order for these type of calculations to work. So an example is that you have an int plus a double. This can't be calculated because you can't add an int and a double together. So what Java does is automatically changes either the int to a double or a double to an int. It chooses to or it's actually set up to convert the int to the double because the int is smaller and it can be converted to a double. And we've shown this and demonstrated it with two cups. And so you can't stick the larger cup in the smaller cup, but you can put the smaller cup into the larger. And so the int can become a double. It can be a double. So here's what happens. The int gets converted to a double, and now you have a double plus a double. So that in a sense, the calculation is rewritten, and we already know that a double plus a double is a double. Okay, so here's an example: 12. 12 technically converts to a 12.0 because it's trying to add a double to the 12 to the int. And so the int has to become a double, so they are now having the same data type. And that's why it's called unifying data types. Establishing unifying data types. So they got to become unified. If they have different data types, they can't be added, multiplied, or divided, etc. But once they're unified in their data types, they can then be calculated. And so you'll notice that's why 12 plus 6 0.0 is not just 18, because that would be saying an int plus a double is an int. But in all actuality, this can convert it to double plus double, and so it's double. Okay, so we're going to take a look at how JGraphs does that. And so here we have 28 divided by 7, and when we run that, we have two ints, so the result is an int. It's just a 4. But if we change 1 to a double, now the 7 has to convert to a 7.0, and then it has 28, it has a double divided by a double. So you're going to get a double. We're not going to get 4. We're going to get 4.0. Alright, so that's the key thing. You're going to get 4.0 here. not 4. And then if we continue on here and do, just to show us just a little bit more, if we choose 29, 29 divided by 7, if you did that in a calculator, that's fine, but you just have to remember that Java is going to truncate, cut off the decimals. So it's going to just give, because it's an int divided by an int, so it's an int as a response. But now if we just change one of these, I'll change this one this time, to a 0, now it's the 29 has to convert to 29.0, and then the 29, the double divided by a double is a double. So now you should have a Herkin decimal, which you do right there. Alright, so that's what's happening. And so down here, what we can do is look at this. And so 8.0 minus 3 is not 5. And it's a 5.0. And here's the thing to remember. It doesn't matter whether you don't have to think about one converting. Just know that that's what it does. Essentially, the basic rule is this. When one operand is a double, the result will be a double. That's all you got to remember. If both operands are ints, the result's an int. If both are double, it's a double. If just one is a double, it's going to be a double. So 10.0 divided by 4 in the calculator, that's going to be 2.5. And because one of the operands is a double, we keep the decimal. Where here, you can still use the same calculator. You're going to get 2.5, but because these are both ints, you're going to cut off that decimal and just put a 2. Down here, you have 8 times 3.0 is not 24, because it's got to have a decimal, because an int times a double is a double, because one of the operands is a double, and then 8 times 3 is just 24. Alright, that's it, and that should help you with tonight's homework.